Welcome to Crafty Compulsions. My name is Valerie, and I'm so glad you could join me. Today, I'll be doing a coloring page in this book, Cute and Magical Coloring Book by Alexandra Franzese, and I'll be using my Ohuhu Honolulu alcohol markers. So for today's color along, I thought I would do something a little different. And while the coloring is happening, I'm going to do some coloring reflection questions. So these will be questions looking back on 2024 and looking ahead on 2025. And I picked 20 questions, a little bit from the reflection questions and video that my Colorful Country Life did, and a little bit from what A Pictured Purpose did in her reflections and coloring. This page, so we've got a little fella in the woods. Looks like he's cut a little tree down on the sled, maybe some snow here on the ground, and this is what I chose to color. I'm not going to spend, I don't think I'm going to do too much shading or blending, just kind of straight coloring today. And I'll show you the colors that I've picked out and where I think I'm going to be using them. So for the trees, I have BG7 forest green. For our little characters outfit, I have Y140 Nugget, YR180 Lipstick Orange, and B290 Antwerp Blue. So I was thinking blue maybe for the pants and the belts, and yellow and orange for the shirt and the hat, but we'll see where my creativeness takes me. Let's see. So then I have I've got the warm grays here. I think I've got all three. Yeah. So we have warm gray 090, warm gray 070, and warm gray 050. Sorry, ran off the camera. So I'm thinking the dark gray I will use maybe for his boots, and the 7 gray I was thinking I would use that for the hair, the beard and the hair, kind of gray. And then I pulled the light gray one, the 5 gray, for maybe a little bit on the snow at the bottom. I'm kind of imagining that it's towards the end of the winter season, maybe there's a little bit of snow on the ground, the grass is starting to come up. The grass hasn't really started to turn green yet, but just kind of starting to poke out. The snow's milty, so it kind of looks a little bit grungy sometimes. And that's kind of my story to go with this picture. I've got a couple of browns. So I picked out E310 dark brown and E300 clay. I was going to use the dark brown for the trunks of the trees and the clay for the sled. I'm not sure what color I'm going to use for the rope. I'm going to leave that open-ended, but I'll choose probably from one of these colors that I've already picked out. Let's see, what's next? Oh, right. The kind of grass that's poking out, I picked G240 beige green. So it'll look green, but it's not going to look bright and vibrant like what you're going to see in like the spring or summer. For our little guy's skin color, I'm going to use R19 Barely Beige. And for the little rosy cheeks, I picked R20 Powder Pink. So we'll see how those go. And yeah, that's my plan. That's my thought for this page. There. Okay, so I'm gonna get into the coloring and then I will add in my questions. So I hope you enjoy the coloring. And so number one, my favorite pages, books, and supplies. I'm not going to answer any questions about those. I'm going to do those in a separate video to come soon. What were your coloring goals for 2024? Well, that's an easy question to answer because I didn't really make any coloring goals for 2024. But I can tell you I certainly made some going into 2025. And we'll get to those in a few minutes. How many pages did you color in 2024? Well, I really wish I knew exactly, but I don't. I really ranged from about 14 to upwards of 60 pages per month, but I really don't know the total. I could tell you what I've done in the last couple months, but it's I did a lot over the summer, so it's really hard to say. Next question is, how many books did you color this year? Well, I colored in 20 books, which is all the books in kind of my current collection, not including the books that I'm considering passing along or that are considered in my kind of archived section, ones that I'm keeping but I'm not currently coloring in. So I'm very happy that I was able to color in all my books and show them all some love and attention. How many whips do you currently have? So, how many work in progresses do I have? I have 4. I've got one double page spread that is just barely started in Worlds Within Worlds by Kirby Rosanis. I have a page started in Shooting Star by Maria Trollet, and that's from a color and chat video that is on the channel. I haven't gotten back to that one yet. I also have a page almost done in Magical Jungle by Joanna Basford. And the last one is Mystery Mosaics, Dazzling Scenery by Maximus Prime. I have a very little bit done on a page, and that's the one that I did in my coloring testing video for the acrylic paint pens and the Sharpie creative markers. So I've got kind of a partial started page there. I have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of other pages that are not finished, but I'm considering those as abandoned pages, and I have no intention of going back to them. So I'm just going to say I have 4. How many untouched coloring books do I currently have in my collection? Well, I have 0. Yay! How many videos did you make in 2024? Well, I did 22 videos, and that was just from when I started posting coloring videos from October 29th-ish to now, December 31st. How many new books did you add to your collection this year? Woo, it was a big year. I had about 6 coloring books before 2024, and I added a whopping 14 new coloring books to my collection. It was a very big year for me for getting coloring books. So that brings me up to a total of 20. Again, this is in like my current collection, like my current grouping. There are others, but they're kind of what I would say is like archived. I'm not going to be coloring in them, but I'm not going to get rid of them. Which coloring book did you work in the most in 2024? Okay, well, that's easy peasy. It was Coloring by Number Gardens by Alexandra Franzese. And I both purchased this book, started this book, and finished this book. There was about 50 pages. Did you finish any coloring books this year? Yes, I finished 3. Village Charm by Teresa Goodrich, Color by Number Gardens by Alexandra Franzese, and Mystery Mosaics Landscapes Volume 2 by Jennifer Rollins. What was your favorite coloring book release of 2024? Since I didn't have access to the original edition to it, I'm saying Shooting Star by Maria Trolle. I know that it was actually released in 2023, but I waited and got the English version when it was released this year. Which pencil set did you use the most? Prismacolor Premier, pretty much the only one. What new techniques did you learn this year? Well, I'm sure there's probably lots, but the one that I really stands out as the one that I worked on the most, especially in the latter half of the year, was blending and shading with alcohol markers. Do you have any coloring regrets from this year? Nope, none. What's happened, and everything was a learning experience. And if those negative things hadn't happened, then I wouldn't have been able to learn from them and do better next time. So no, I don't have any regrets. Was there a book or page that surprised you with how much you enjoyed it? Yes, I got Autumn by Jade Summer, and I figured I would like the book. I was going to get another Alexandra Franzese book, but I thought, let's spread it around and try a Jade Summer book. So, didn't have really high expectations, but I am really enjoying coloring in it. I've been using pencils in it so far. I haven't really done anything with markers or other media. Whereas in the Color by Number Gardens book that I had, I used like pretty much everything except pencils. So I'm surprised. I'm really impressed with how well I can make the Amazon paper work. What was your most memorable coloring moment? Well, that was when I was doing buddy colors with my 3 daughters. And it was just so much fun to be able to include them now that they're older in a hobby that I have and also that they like to do too. How many pages would you like to color in 2025? So I don't really have a whole lot to go on because I don't know how many I colored for this year. But I'm going to say, let's say 20 pages a month. 20 pages per month would be my goal. So that would be 240 pages for the year. That's a lot of pages. Looking at that number, it seems pretty scary. But let's set the goal as 240 and I'll see what happens at the end of the year. I've never tracked my coloring for an entire year consistently, so this should be really interesting to see. What new techniques would you like to learn or improve upon? I'd really like to continue working on my shading. It's something that I've always found difficult to do. My mind just has a hard time sometimes seeing a flat picture illustration and seeing that as what 3D objects would look like. I have no problem with blending. I love blending and making gradients. It's my favorite thing about coloring. My favorite thing. So the difficult part is where to put that shading or where to put that, where to start that darker blend. And then I'd also like to continue working with mixed media and wet media. I've done a lot of playing around over this past summer, but I've yet to really get my skills to a place where I can use them in a coloring book page and be really happy with it. So I just want to continue working on that. So those are the two areas I want to work on. What are your most anticipated releases for 2025? Well, right after I got Shooting Star by Maria Trolle, her next book was released, Sagon, and that's it's about like fairy tales. So I'm gonna wait for the English version to be released next year, and I will hopefully maybe get it. It looks like a beautiful book, and I'm really excited. I feel like I just got Shooting Star, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, she has another new one coming out, and um, yeah. So I guess being here in Canada, I'm like a year behind, but I'll wait. I'll wait for the English version. I can be patient. I've got lots to color in the meantime, so I'm good. And my very last question: what are your coloring goals for this year, for 2025? So I've got a couple of goals. One, I want to try to complete 5 coloring books, maybe more, but 5 is my goal. I would like to track my pages better, both how many pages I'm coloring and the mediums I've used. And I've set myself up with my coloring journal so that I can track that. I would like to continue posting minimum 2 videos a week and continue to just keep moving forward and pushing myself in my skills and techniques and my coloring, and just keep enjoying it until it's not enjoyable anymore. And my last goal is I'd really like to continue to get more involved and active in the coloring community. I would love to get into trying some of the challenges or hashtags, maybe do some buddy colors. That would be something that I would like to try doing and add in. So there we go. There's my 20 reflection questions. So there is my completed page. Just a quick straight coloring. And I did add BG6 peacock green for the little tree. In hindsight, I think I would have done something different with the trees, because that was just a huge block of green in the same color. So some more variation would have been interesting there, but I do like how our little character kind of pops off from a nice kind of quick color today. I haven't done much coloring in the last few days, so this was good to kind of get back into it. So I'm gonna call it done there and leave the background. So that is my completed page. I hope you enjoyed the coloring and the reflection questions that I answered today. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.